to Sisterhood Connection. This is Michelle.
And Erica.
And we are so excited you're back. Ladies, guess what? Okay, look. We typically really would have our regular, celebrity conversation this week. Remember, because last week, that's what we said we were going to do. But we absolutely have to talk about this April 5th protest.
We have to address this.
We
have to. Girl, I know my thoughts, and I would love to hear our
okay.
listening audience. I would love to hear
that. I need you to go because, man, okay, if you all don't know by now, who is I'm not going to say the renegade, and who is Malcolm X, remember that? Who is who? Yeah, I need Malcolm to go.
I think okay. At this particular situation that's going on in the U.S., I think we do need this Malcolm X mentality because y'all, he don't care about y'all marching. The man was playing golf.
Wow.
I'm just saying, and I get why we're marching. We're so unhappy. The world, our country is in complete and utter chaos right now for no reason. Yeah. But I just want to know if we feel, how does the people that organize it? Who organizes this? That's the other thing. Now, leadership that organizes this.
This is okay. Oh, you know what? That was a perfect question. So this is what I found out. I'm like, because I had the same thing. I'm like, well, who?
Right. Neither. It's just, we just kind of knew that, okay, there's going to be a protest on April 5th concerning the Trump and his administration and his forceful executive orders and all this other stuff that he's doing. But again, my thing is, I guess I'm trying to figure out is, how, the whole civil rights, you had the leadership, you had the Malcolm X, you had the Martin Luther King, you had the Jesse Jacksons, you had, a group of elite men and women heading this. Who's the headliners? Who's leading this? Because again, I understand the protest, and I agree that, you need to show that there's some sort of issues that you don't like. He's not representing the people, but he don't care about my opinion. Man, don't care about y'all marching. Those are your feet. That's your time. That's your energy. That's your creativity with your signs. And I agree with them. I agree with you. What else?
Okay, this is the thing that I saw. Okay, there were over 150 organizations that got together. And the one that was mentioned the most was one called 50501. Okay. And there were 50 states, 50, oh my goodness, I forgot. It was 50, the 5050 stands for 50 something, 50 states, one movement. So it has.
Okay, I had to slip that in.
So the renegade. That was the one that was mentioned at, being, I guess, the outlier or whatever. But it was an organized effort from these different, I guess, smaller organizations, because since they did the protest locally or statewide or whatever. So the protesters, I guess, they have local connections, local organizations that get together. But the main one that stood out, because like I said, it was over like 150 of them nationwide. But the main one that stood out was 50501. Now, they started in January of this year. So they got this thing trying to get together quick. So they're like, Trump is out of pocket. But their 50501, 50 protests, 50 states, one movement. So that's their whole, I guess, goal or theme or whatever. So they had organized this, I guess, across the board. And voila, we have the April 5th protests.
Okay. So now I get it, because it was like, it's just kind of like, did you just get on TikTok and Instagram? Social media. We're doing it too. We're doing it too. So I just didn't understand, like, the organizers. And so I guess showing that we're all doing the same thing in all 50 states is a form of solidarity, even though we're not in one location, we're spread out.
Right.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So I get it. It's like you get it, but it's like, okay.
But I mean, with the type of person, the type of man we're dealing with, he don't care about y'all marching. He don't care. You got it.
I think the only thing literally that might get his attention outside of the norm, because that's the businessman. But if you have, like, on his team, maybe, if you actually you have to have a certain number. Now, what that number would be, then that might then get someone on that team to be like, hey, we might need to, actually make a statement of some sort. Because this is totally sidebar, just popped in my head. Did you see or have you seen? He was, I guess, on a plane or something, and a reporter asked him a question, and this was regarding tariffs. And he told that lady that was a stupid question. So if he tells this lady her question was stupid, she's a United States citizen. She pays taxes. You are obligated to this woman as a citizen. And you tell her that her question is stupid. So for hundreds of thousands of people to get together and march and say, hey, we're not really pleased with how you run the country, what would think you're going to do?
I know, right? And this is something they teach you from kindergarten, pre-K, that there's no stupid questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yet here comes the bully that hasn't bullied the right person or people yet.
Yeah.
Because I don't care who you are. I don't, unless you are, and I'm just going to say this and I'm going to leave it at that. Unless you're Jesus, God, or the Holy Spirit, the first time you tell me that it's a stupid question, you come at me, I'm coming back at you.
Match energy.
That's the tone you're setting, then let's do it. That's just the way. Okay, but is that Malcolm X mentality? So that's why I'm
What
saying.
did I just tell y'all?
I'm just saying, it's like when you have to deal with, listen, this is what you're dealing with. This is who you're dealing with. Okay. You got to find out what hurts him the most. And really for him, it's the pockets. I mean, if y'all don't see, look, your stock market crashed. The stock market crashed. It's not funny by any means. Mm-hmm. However, this man is still playing golf. He does not care. So you got to find out what is it for him that hits him. It's like dealing with kids. It's like you want to punish them, you want to get to them, you got to hit them where it hurts. And for him, it's the problem.
So you got to figure that thing out, or just something, I guess, at some point. Because if the people are saying one thing, and for you to play golf and not acknowledge the statement, that's kind of disrespectful in the position that you're in. So it's like, that's evident.
Very. And then the thing is, it's so disrespectful with me being a Florida resident, but I'll always be a Georgia peach. But me being a Florida resident, I'm about sick of paying for this airline fuel and maintenance every week for him to fly back and forth on my tax dollars, your tax dollars, and everybody else that's marching tax dollars. You're here to do a job. How many of you guys can come home and fly and do what you want to do every weekend? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you're here for a job, just like you have to, wait for your 1 week, 2 week, whatever your PTO days accumulate or whatever, convicted felon or convicted felon. It is what it is, and still behaving like a felon. And okay, y'all, we said this in the first, previous episode, how we felt about this, but y'all got to figure out how to hit him where it hurts. Nobody's figured it out yet, because clearly he's doubling down.
This is
like
the
when
thing.
The stock market crashed.
Because everything, all the movements are strategized. This is not whim movements, spontaneous movements. Let's just do this. No, this has been planned. However, this is going, this is the plan, and the expected response has already been figured into that plan.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, okay, then if that's the plan and you already expect that, well, we'll just, let that happen. Go ahead and have your little thing over here, and we'll just keep on trudging along.
Right.
I'm just like, okay. Now, what are the results of that? And then I think there was supposed to be another potential or possible march or protest coming up. But not particularly sure if that's going to take place, but it was discussed in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, there needs to be some pressure added. I mean, and clearly America has spoken. America has spoken that you don't represent us. Spoken.
Okay, you've spoken.
America, we have spoken. You're supposed to represent the people.
All of the people.
Clearly, you're not representing the people. You have your own agenda. And whatever that agenda is, if somebody doesn't stop this man, it's going to be very detrimental to our country and our people. One quick thing I forgot. What I didn't realize, and I'm really proud of this, is that it wasn't just the U.S. protesting. It was other countries. When I saw France and London and some places in Africa, I'm like, so clearly I'm just going to say it, your own citizens are pissed off, but also the other countries are like, why y'all, I'm just going to say it, why the hell did y'all vote this man in? Because now we as leaders, we have to deal with this fool again. And yeah, I said, and if you don't like it, this is not the podcast for you. Clearly, we didn't like him the first time we had issues, and then you bring him again, and he's a felon. So now, of course, he feels like I can do what I want to do. What you gonna do? Who gonna check me, boo? That's what he's saying.
Wow, that's what he said. Thank you. Love it.
And so what I'm trying to do on my end, I'm supporting everything. I'm watching everything. I'm disappointed with everything, what's going on. But you know what? I'm minding my own business.
Don't forget you're drinking water. Okay. Just saying.
Tried to tell you. But anyway, y'all, it's interesting. We're going to keep up. Of course, we're going to keep up. And there's going to be lots of discussion because as time goes on, every day there seems to be some sort of new development.
Something's happening. Something's going on. So what are y'all talking about? I want to know what ladies, what are we talking about in our little huddles and our little conversations? You know how we get on the phone and chit chat and all that stuff. What some of the things do you agree? Do you disagree? What parts do you agree with? I mean, let's talk about it. That's what we're here for.
Right. And what are your thoughts? Like, okay, you have the protest, but maybe you have an idea with saying, like they did with the DEI, you know what? We won't support those companies. And Target felt it the most, I guess. Right now, I believe Target really felt it the most. It was spoken. That's the way you hit them. Yeah, maybe, one of you ladies have an idea that nobody has thought about. And it's like, you know what? Because
now you know. Yes, when we get together, we can move and shake some things. That's all I'm just saying.
Just like that. What Shaka Khan and Whitney Houston say? I'm every woman. Anything you want done.
Every woman. It's only me. Anything you want done, baby.
Do it naturally.
Whoa. Girl. Okay, I'm
You
done.
know what? We done moved on to music, laughing about the situation, which is a good segue into what we're the topic this week, which is celebrity conversations. And we have who we got?
We have Mr. Billy Brown, the last surviving member of Ray, Goodman, and Brown. Now, I think when we mentioned last week, we were going to talk to him this week. The song name that I was talking about that is kind of a bop from last year is You're So Fine. That is a great, like a cruising song. Like if you're around the house and you're cleaning up and you want to know, your man tell you you're so fine, turn Billy Brown on because he's telling you in his song. And I'm like, I like that.
Yep. So, girl, let's get to it. Let's go ahead and get Mr. Brown in here and let's hear all his wisdom and his stories and about his life. And y'all sit back. This is a good one. This is a good one.
It is.
Mr. Brown.
Ladies, I just want to say I had the pleasure last night of just listening to some of the most beautiful music that I've been listening to my entire life. And do you know who we have here today? Mr. Legendary crooner, Mr. Billy Brown. We want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Because we have a lot we want to get into today.
Okay.
You really do.
Well, I want to thank you for letting me talk with y'all today. It's my pleasure.
No. It's our pleasure. And I'm just going to throw this out. We're very lighthearted. Like I said, we have the mamas, our parents involved because we grew up listening to a lot of this. And I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of your music and the songs you wrote and produced, I spent a lot of Saturdays cleaning to that music.
Boy. Yeah, boy.
Me and Mama cleaning the music. Now in the evenings on Saturdays, Mama and Daddy would get dressed and have the music going, and they're going out and do their things.
So what did you do while they were going out?
I mean,
You stayed in the house. You stayed in the house finishing up all the cleaning, right?
Well, no, I stayed in. I had an older brother that was a babysitter, so.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
spent
so
my
she stayed
time.
in the house harassing, her older brother. That's what
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
Now we
Oh.
had Saturday evenings where we would sit on the stairs and my parents would actually dance. I can remember sitting watching them. They literally, yes. And
Yeah.
well, fast forward, they're like, our knees, we can't dance. But they
Yeah.
would dance, turn on the music. It was, oh my goodness, it was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. That must
So,
have been
Mr.
really nice. I know that
Yeah,
was nice, yeah. To
yeah,
see it.
just the memories that that we, oh God, just growing up, and I'm like, some of the songs, I'm like, I didn't know that it was you guys. I just didn't know, so I'm like,
Yeah.
that one too, and that one too, and that one too. So yeah, I'm just excited. I'm actually just I'm so almost I'm starstruck almost.
So we're going to let you tell us
Yeah.
more about how did the band form? Give us some history. Tell us about this. How did all this greatness start?
Well, the way I started was well, I'm from Georgia. I'm from a little place called Swainsboro, Georgia. I'm a country boy.
Both of us are from Georgia. That's
I'm
us.
still in
Oh,
Georgia.
okay.
Born and
Oh, yeah.
raised.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Yeah. And my dad was a minister, and of course, you know how that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you in church. Sunday, you in church from Sunday school to evening service.
Yes.
All day long. You took a break and came home and ate dinner at home, and then, or if they weren't serving dinner at church,
Right.
then you'd go ahead, finish dinner and go back to church and and listen to the guest preacher and
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
that's mainly what I did. And then I sang in my father's choir when I was a little boy. I started at 4 years old.
Mm.
Wow.
And what really got me secular music was that I was watching this show that used to come on years ago called Shower of Stars, and I saw Frankie Lyman and the teenager,
Oh.
and he was a young guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little boy, and I'm saying the girls screaming and all that, and I told my mother and father, I said, "That's what I want to do. I'm going to do that when I grow up." So that was my first taste of well, not my first taste of, but I listened to secular music, but we couldn't. Well, my father didn't. If we played it, we had to play it when he wasn't home.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and it was something that it's something that I had always I always wanted to do. I had two ambitions. I wanted to play professional football,
Oh
or be
wow.
an entertainer. And
Wow.
as you would have it, how many people can say that, the goals that you might have set for yourself, you attained? So,
Right.
you know,
Right.
I was in a group called the Broadways, and we were the first black act to be signed by MGM Records, Black Singing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we broke up and everything, and we were in New York City, and we were doing a show at a Crystal Ballroom in New York. And this guy came up to me and said, "Wow, man, you guys are great, man." He said, "Are you signed with anybody?" I told him, said no. And he said, "Well, you remember Sylvia Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia and Joe Robinson?" I said, "No, I don't know." He said, "You know Sylvia, Love Is Strange." I said, "Oh yeah, the song, yeah, Mickey and Sylvia." So he said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, they got a recording studio in Englewood, New Jersey. Why don't you guys come over and maybe you can work something out?" Okay,
Mhm.
went up about 2 days or 3 days later, and went up, and what happened was that they liked the group, but they liked me better.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted me as a solo artist.
Mhm.
And so I said, well, I don't know. It was hard to make a decision. So I didn't
Okay.
go back. I was working for Ford Motor Company at that time.
Really? My dad retired from Ford Motor Company. So, well,
Really?
wait till I tell my
All
mom
right
this
now.
one.
All right
Yeah.
now.
Right. I was like, wait a minute.
We hitting on all 8 cylinders today, aren't
I'm
we?
Right.
serious.
Right? Yeah. And that's okay, no problem. And so I said, well, I had a good job, so I was came home one night early. I got off early, and I went to this club that we used to frequent in Asbury Park, New Jersey, a club called Big Bill's. And so I went in the club, and the bartender there was a good friend of mine, a guy named Richard Hatchett. He came up to me and he called me over. He said, "Billy, come here." So he said, "Look, this guy came in here and left his card and told me to tell you to wait here. He'll be back. He wants to talk to you." I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay." So I looked at the card and I said, "Oh, it's Larry Roberts." I said, "Oh, the guy from that we met in New York." So he came back in. He didn't. No, I'm sorry. I left and went to another club and stayed there for for a couple of hours, and then came back. And then when I got back in, he said, "The guy just left." He said he's going by your house. I said, "Okay." So I thought he was, the guy was joking or whatever. So he came back in. He said, "Look," he says, "Joe and Sylvia sent me down here to get you. They want you to be the new lead singer for the moment." So I said, "Get out of here." So he says, "I'm serious." He said, Joe sent me down here. Joe and Sylvia sent me down here to get you. I said, "Okay." He said, "Look, what I'm going to do." He said, "I just left your house." He said, "I was talking to your sister." He says, "I'll be back. I'm going to stay down here tonight, and I'll pick you up in the morning, and I'll take you up to Inglewood." I said, "Well, okay." I didn't believe him.
Right.
I didn't believe him. So when he got there, my sister knocked on the door, on my bedroom door. "Billy." She said, "Larry's here to pick you up." So I said, then it dawned on me, he must be serious. So I got up, jumped in the shower real quick, got myself together, and we went up to Inglewood. And so, as fate would have it, Joe Robinson was there, and he says, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm good." He says, "Well, look." He says, "Larry, I guess Larry told you what we want." I said, "Yeah, he said that you wanted me to be the new lead singer for the moment." So he says, "Would you? Or can you?" So he went in his pocket. And pulled out this big roll of $100 bills and took 5 of them off and said, "Here, take this, and if you need whatever you need, go ahead and get it. If that ain't enough," he said, "come back and see me." He said, "Oh boy,
Okay.
This guy is really serious."
All right. He got your attention.
And so yeah,
You think?
So I said, "Okay." And that was it. He said, "Look, you guys got to get to rehearsing." He said, "Because this was on a Wednesday." And he says, "You got a show in Baltimore, Maryland, Saturday at the Civic Center." I said, "Okay." So
Mr. Brown, I'm sorry. So you hadn't met the group or hadn't worked with the group yet?
I hadn't worked
And
with
they
him.
had
No,
already scheduled something?
it was already on the books. The
Wow.
other guys got fired because
Okay.
they had rules and regulations as far as different things, drugs and all that kind of stuff. You got caught, you were automatically out and that kind of thing. So I said, "Well, okay." So I went ahead with it, with the program. He says, "All we got to do is got to learn not on the outside." So I said, "Okay." When then I got with Al Goodman was already there. We got he had been working with Sylvia as Mickey. He was doing the Mickey part because Mickey and Sylvia had since departed. And Mickey was living in Paris at that time, and so Al was doing the Mickey part.
And Mr. Brown, I'm sorry, around what year was this? Like around what era or
This was like
decade?
This was 1968.
Okay.
1968. Yeah, before y'all was born. Right.
We were almost here. We were
Right.
You were almost there,
Give us
right?
a few years. Give us just a few
We're
years. We made it.
They were working on it. How about
Yeah,
that?
right. Okay. All right now. That's good. We got together and they kept one guy, Johnny Morgan. They kept Johnny Morgan from the group, and the rest of the guys, the other 3 guys, they let them go. So Al, myself, and Johnny Morgan, we got together and we started rehearsing, that night, and I had to learn choreography and everything, choreography, all that kind of stuff, But hey, we
In
did what
one night?
we did what we had to do. We had 2 nights,
Right.
2 days to do it, and
You
we went
did.
there all day and half of the night,
Yeah.
getting it together. And that's really how it all transpired. And after that, after Not on the Outside and everything, it came up with Sunday and I Do and all those songs, Lovely Way She Loves and that kind of thing.
The songs they don't do anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
The lost art of swooning and courting a lady. I mean,
Right.
really.
The whole, the art of it is just
Yeah.
They don't.
want you now.
They don't do it. They don't do it. They really don't do it anymore. And
At all.
and the sad thing about it is that Black acts, they're trying to keep up with what what's going on out here today. Not trying to enhance what what we are about, the music that's is us from the core. You know what I mean?
Right.
They want to try to do different things, and seeing the thing that really somewhat not angers me but makes me feel kind of bad is that now look at Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars came in there and took the music and the stuff that we do. And now the kids today think that's something brand new.
Right.
They think it's all Bruno Mars did that, blah blah blah. No, Bruno Mars didn't do that.
Right. There's nothing new under the sun.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
Bruno Mars took what we did, our music, and ran with it.
Right. Now, we were going to touch on this after we get all the information, let you tell your story, because we were actually planning to touch on this after, because this is all about you. So we're going to hold this topic for a little later. Okay. So my next question is, what was your first real breakout hit? And what did you do? What was the first thing you did when your first breakout hit?
Okay. For me, the biggest record that we've ever had, that we've ever recorded was "Love on a Two-Way Street." For me, that was the biggest record.
Yeah.
And what I did when I got, what do we do? What did I do as soon as I got, nothing really. I just thank God for it.
Right.
Yeah, I thank God for it. And, young and crazy, and everything, going out partying and staying out all night.
No. Say so.
They say about preachers' sons and
children.
Well,
I'm a PK myself, but that doesn't apply to me. That came later. That came later.
Different.
Yeah. No,
So
but
when your first hit,
we went out and partied, and we had a good time. Back then, there wasn't no drugs and all that kind of stuff. And we went out and had a few drinks and some champagne and that kind of thing.
We celebrated a little, yeah.
We used to frequent a club. In New York, we used to go to this club called Small's Paradise.
Oh.
Yeah, and we used to go there and and just have a good time.
Because when y'all went out, I must say this, just watching my parents, and Michelle, I'll let you ask your question.
Oh, yeah, I'll get it.
I can remember when my parents, as a little girl, getting ready to go out. And of course, my dad would always get finished first. You throw on a suit and and go. And he's clean, but, mom, us ladies. And I just remember sitting in the middle of her bed, watching her get dressed, and she would hold up earrings and asking me. And I used to think, boy, when I get that age, and this was before before the PK kid. When you guys went out, which is a little different now in the newer generation when they go out, you guys went out in style. Really, your wardrobe was immaculate.
Yeah.
And on point, where now it's okay, you're going out, but now today. Yeah. Now we're heading out, but I'm just going to say it, Michelle. Some of us ladies look like we're heading to the other type of club.
Yeah, right,
It's a different situation.
But anyway, Michelle, you can go ahead and ask your question.
But one thing, as far as the going out, because my parents didn't really go out a lot, but my grandfather, rings on every finger, the lion's head with the diamonds as the eyes, the hat with the feather. I'm like, where are you going? You have grandkids right here.
Right.
He was having a good time, but they really enjoyed it.
They really were clean.
But really, on your first
they made a statement. They
cared. They were intentional.
You got your generation literally set the tone.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It just, regardless, when you walked out the door, unless you were heading to work, I'm just saying, and you were a blue collar worker. But if you were heading out the door, even if it was shopping, the ladies would walk out with the dresses, the gloves.
Yes, they would. Yeah.
And, our generation, and now the younger generation, you see the bonnets and the pajamas
and slippers and robes.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you. Pajama bottoms, pants, all that,
It's insane.
When you see that, when you see the difference Like, what goes through your mind when you see the difference, like how you all walked out versus now?
I just said, I don't know what, is this what we wear? Is this what y'all wear when y'all go out? And I'm saying, boy, oh boy, what difference? Where you going?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
Right.
Walmart.
Where are you going to go?
Get it?
Y'all must be having a lawn party or something.
Seriously.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
No, when we
Yeah.
went out, guys, they got tight.
Yes.
A suit, shoes,
Yes.
nice pair of shoes, a white shirt and tie, and all that.
Yes.
We
You were clean.
oh yeah,
And I
Oh,
bet
sure.
you still go out like that
yeah.
now, don't you?
Huh?
You go. I said, I bet you still go out like that now, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
I do. Somebody
And we
saw
know
me.
try to keep up. Okay,
Yeah,
girl.
exactly. A couple years ago, was it? I'm trying to think. Was it my son? So they saw me in a pair. I had on a pair of jeans, and they said, "Dad," I said, "Yeah, you wearing jeans?" I said, "Yeah." I mean, what's wrong? Just strange, we don't never see you in jeans.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I
Exactly.
wear them now. I
Yeah.
got jean sets that I wear, casual.
Mhm.
So I don't.
You
So
can still dress them up.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because we asked Climax this, so I'm gonna the group Climax, we had them as well. So I'm gonna ask you as well on the road. Now I just want to know, what is the most interesting, bizarre, or weird or funny story on the road or
At a
performance?
concert.
Yeah.
Well, oh boy.
There's so many.
Had so many. Right.
There's
Right.
been a
So
lot.
many.
There's been a lot. But we were doing a show at Canisius College in upstate New York. And we had some new suits on. They were black velvet pinstripe suit. And we were singing, and the girls, they were going.
Wait. I'm sorry. I had a moment for a second. You said a black velvet pinstripe.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Black
was y'all.
velvet.
Them sharp as a tack. Yes,
I'm writing that down because I just told her I like to sew. They know I like to sew. I haven't seen that. So I'm like, really? A black velvet pin? You know what I could do with that fabric? I'm sorry, Mr. Brown. Go ahead. Y'all sharp. Okay,
And
go
we
ahead.
had just had the suits made. We had a tailor back then. His name was Roy Masato, and he was from Jamaica. But he those suits were. I mean, they were the cat's meow.
I mean, black pinstripe. I've never seen black pinstripe. I've seen black, not velvet pinstripe. Oh my God.
And we had the shoes covered in the same material.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, wait a minute. Hold up. So none of the Gators and what's my dad's favorite?
Stacey Adams, baby.
Yes, Lord.
What?
The Stacey Adams shoes
Stacey
and
Adams
the Gators, but he covered the shoes to match this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He covered the shoes in the same material.
Okay. Nice.
The girl started rushing the stage and all that kind of stuff, and I tripped and fell, and they ripped the pants off.
No.
Yeah, ripped my pants, had ripped my jacket and everything. I said, "Oh my Lord!" I got up there, I was darn near naked.
I bet you to this day, I guarantee you, to this day, yeah, somebody had some black velvet pinstripe.
You would look too sharp that day. You look too good.
Oh boy, it was something. I know I was mad as hell.
Right.
I'm on the hunt. As soon as we finish, a black pinstripe. Velvet.
And where was this show? Where was the show?
It was at Canisius College.
Canisius College. Wow.
In upstate
So
New York.
did you have a spare? Like, what did you do? Like, you got nothing?
Well, he had to make me another one.
Oh, wow.
So he had to make me another suit.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So when you mentioned your first hit was Love on a Two-Way Street. When
the biggest hit we've had was Love on a Two-Way Street. The first hit was Not on the Outside.
Okay, I heard that one. Yeah. And when Stacey Lattisaw did the song, how did you all feel about that, or how was that process?
Oh, it was great. I mean, we had got all we could do, out of it. We sold about 2.5 million copies.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep, and she
Back then, that's huge. No
Yeah.
offense, but that is huge.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah. And then she I don't know, I guess she must have sold about maybe about seven or eight excuse me, 700,000 or 800,000 copies of
Yeah.
the song.
Uh-huh.
I think she did a great job. She did a great job.
Right.
Yeah, she did a
Yeah.
great job on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that was when I first recognized the song, I believe, because it's been so long ago, but it was Stacey Lattisaw's version. And I'm like, I was, I'm a kid, so I'm early teens, and I'm just singing, and I'm like, Mom, this, and she's like, girl, that is cute, but no. So she went down in the den and went through all her records and all them stacks of 40s. And next thing I know, she says, now come listen to this. And that's when I'm like,
wait a minute. Right.
She's like, no, baby.
Exactly.
No. This is not new, baby. No. This is real. So that's when I was introduced to it. So fast forward to where you started early. You mentioned earlier about, because we were planning to ask you this as well, as far as the newer generation of music, because when we were coming up, hip hop was just taking off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were still into the, R&B, and then hip hop came in and it kind of got mixed in the other stuff. And so now that we're older, listening to the older stuff, like I don't even listen to, sorry if anybody's younger, I don't even listen to the newer stuff now because I don't enjoy it. And I don't know what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
But as far as like the newer generations and their remaking songs,
right.
What is your take on it? Like, is there ever any type of song you would say no to if someone wanted to,
Any type of song? You mean
like any one of your
genre,
songs, like
any particular
song that, for instance, for me, there's certain songs that should not be touched. They're classics. Just leave them alone.
Right.
Don't even try to remake them. And they try it doesn't work. Right. I'm not going to call any names.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, is there one particular song that you wrote or any particular songs that you've performed or your songs that you feel, nope, this is classic. I don't want anybody to touch it?
Well,
out of curiosity.
If I wrote the song, you had to look at the monetarily,
Right.
The kids are, it all depends on, and it really all depends on the artist, because a lot of times, because you can, with the money that we were making back then, these kids are making now, like, they're making 5-10 times more than when we did back then.
Right.
So if it's a hot artist and if they want to do it, I'm going go ahead and do it, because
I get it.
I wrote it. It's gonna benefit me. So if I didn't make the money then, I can make it now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then again, a lot of times it's not all about the money. It's all about the way that the song is, the way the song is done.
Right.
On a two-way street. I'll tell you something about Love on a Two-Way Street. A little story. I had been at the company at All Platinum Records for about a week and a half, and I heard this. I heard Love on a Two-Way Street because the first person to ever do Love on a Two-Way Street was a secretary from All Platinum Records company, a girl named Leslie Valentine. She recorded it, and the song didn't do. It sold maybe 4 copies. I'm just saying that. What I'm saying,
I'm like, wait, what?
I don't literally 4 copies, but
Yeah.
And I heard the song, and I told Joe Robinson. I said, Joe, man, that's a great song. I said, music is really nice on it. He said, that song didn't do nothing. I said, I like it. I like the song. He said, you like it? I said, yeah. He says, you know how a Frisbee. He had a copy of the record on his 45 on his desk. He said, you like that song? I said, yeah. I said, I love that song. I said, it's great. He said, you like it so much. He said, here. He took and flipped that record to me like a Frisbee.
Oh, wow.
And said, here, go in the studio and record it then. So I said, okay. So I went in the studio that afternoon and recorded that song, and we put it on the initial album, the initial album. Not on the outside, but inside strong. And we used to get bags of mail, a lot of mail, just bag of mail, talking about, why don't you release Love on a Two-Way Street as a single and blah, 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 blah. And so finally we said, okay, all right. I went to Joe and I said, Joe, look at all these letters and stuff from these fans and whoever. They want release the song as a Love on a Two-Way Street as a single. So he said, man, he said, since y'all like all that old syrupy stuff, he said, look, y'all getting ready to do this. They had a show that used to come on TV out of New York called Soul years ago. A guy named Ellis Hazlitt. So he says, you go on there tonight. When you go on there on the show tonight, he said, when you go and you tell them, he said, you tell them, this is my new single. This is our new single. So I said, okay.
Okay.
Went on there that night and said, this is our, and they were talking and blah, 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 blah. I said, and this is our new single, Love on a Two-Way Street. And wouldn't you know, the next day they had orders come in for 75,000 copies the next day. And so Joe said, well, look like we got something here.
Right.
It was waiting for you. It was truly meant for you. It needed your voice and your rendition, and it just took off from there. Yeah. God had that waiting for you, for you guys.
And it took off. Yeah, it took off, and that was it. That was it.
Wow.
The moment.
Wow, that's amazing. With the way how can I ask this without being controversial? Because we're drama free. With the way the music industry, as far as on the R&B hip hop side is going, it's right now it's a little shaky, and we all know why. With the before, like a little before, with the way things were going, I'm kind of glad right now it's slowing down. So hopefully, R&B can make its comeback a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
What do you think about, you mentioned Bruno Mars. What do you think about some of these new artists and the way they are portraying or their rendition of R&B music? Because it's a little different than how we grew up with what R&B sounded like.
Yeah. There's really no... See, they're going in everything to live instruments anymore. And live instruments, a machine, they're doing great things with machines, but machines don't have that feeling. They don't have a feel. It's not a feeling anymore. When you have live musicians, you can tell them how to, what to play, and they put their, it's just a feeling. It's a feeling in the music, and it's not there. It's not there anymore.
It is.
And everything today, most of the songs have the same type, the same beat.
Yes.
It's the same beat for every artist. Everybody's doing the same thing. Yep. You don't know who it is. You don't know who that artist is. But back when we were doing, but you could tell the moments from the Delphonics. We did the same music. That it was all slow music, but but the melodies were different.
Yes.
You know who the artist had a sound. Blue Magic, all those, and Black Ivory and all those groups. We all did the same type music, that loved music, but we all had a different sound.
Yes.
The sound was nobody was trying to sound like I didn't, when I sang, I didn't sound like Will Hart from the Delphonic, or I didn't sound like Russell Tompkins from Stylistics,
Right.
Maybe similar in places and different. Different words in a song might sound the same, but the overall sound of the group was different. You could distinguish what group was. You could hear a song and say, "Oh, that's the New Temptations," or "That's the new." That's
true.
It's a brand new song by the Moments, or that was Ray Goodman and Brown, or whatever.
Right.
And now you don't know what artist is who, what male or female, because everything is got the same rhythm, same beat.
Yep.
The artist sound
nothing to really distinguish the sound.
Yeah.
Because when you had the groups, you had the different cadences. You sound great live. You sound great on the record.
Right.
You have an entire group and live band on the stage. You get the feeling. You see the sweat. You're just like, ooh, all in it. And nowadays, it's one artist with a track.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And some dancers. Excuse me. They have the dancers.
Yeah, and
where's
the dancers.
The music? Right.
Yeah.
Where is that?
So, do you think we will now, with everything's going on, do you think we'll eventually get back to the fundamentals, or is it that's just gone?
I'm hoping that it does go back to going in the studio with live musicians.
Yeah, me too.
And it's just the music just doesn't feel the same anymore. It just doesn't feel the same anymore. It's I don't know. It's just taken so much out of the music. The feeling, that feeling in the music is not
right. Like the true artistry that's involved with it, the passion. Right now, I think it's more about whatever's trending at the time.
at the time.
I don't know, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah. Then COVID had a lot to do with a lot of this stuff, because you couldn't, I don't know, you couldn't sing for a while. I didn't work for almost 4 years.
Oh wow.
After COVID,
Yeah.
people weren't hiring. People were afraid to gather together because
Yes.
they're afraid of the virus.
Right.
So you had, you couldn't. I'll tell you, I'm finishing up a brand new CD.
I was gonna ask, like, what are we working on? Like, what's your current endeavors? What's life like for you? So you're ahead of us. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I'm working on that, but I'm not going to divulge anything about it.
Okay.
I'm going to let y'all. What I'm going to do.
Like a little sneak, just a little bit.
I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you decide. I'm going to call y'all and let y'all hear it.
Okay.
And see what you think. I'm telling you, it is. It's. I'm not patting myself on the back, but
So it's good.
Don't pat yourself, but toot your horn. Toot your horn now. Toot, toot.
Listen, you've already proven your
If it's anything,
you're a legend. So you get the pat on the
well,
back.
thank you.
Right. Let's toot your horn. If it's anything like the song you released last year.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we ready. I am 100% ready for that.
Oh, okay.
Good music. Yeah.
I'm all in.
It's got some real. It's gonna have some real shockers in there for you. I'm telling you, it's not. I mean, I'm talking about in a good way. You're not gonna believe it. I'm telling you. It's like that. It's like that. I'm telling you.
I really think that people are hungry for it. I think we're getting to a point now where it's like, okay, where's the real music again?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, to me, I'm trying to be careful with my words because I don't want to
Anyway, I understand.
But the real, I just feel like, and I'm just using these names, like in our generation, I'm thinking, the Joes and give me another one. Like I don't want to say real singers, but I don't want to say that. Yeah, Tank and type, type of singers. Like you can,
crooners.
Hudson. You know, they can sing. They can sing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So I'm hoping that makes its comeback, since right now it's kind of on a weird curve. So I don't know which way it's going to take the music. So Michelle, you got anything else? I think I've tried my best not to cut you off and ask too many questions. I'm trying to get better at listening, and actually just listening, you're answering questions I already had. So it's working.
Okay.
I think this has been fantastic because I do appreciate the insight. That's what you've given to us, I think, an insight into like the process, into the thoughts from the old versus the new and things like that. And I think that's great. It may help, our audience start looking at music in a different light.
Right. Yeah. I just but first, what I put first and foremost in my life, I really have to say this. What I put first and foremost in my life, I put my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I put him. He's first in my life, and every and anything that I do,
and it shows. It's obvious. It shows.
I always consult him first. I always put him first. I ask him, Father, if this isn't the way that I should go, please, just show me. Just show me the way. Just show me the way. Lead me, and I will follow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Will never fail you.
Yeah.
Yep. Never fail you. So I guess we're winding up. So if we're gonna ask a man compilation. And again, it's just what us women talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys, after you get through talking about cars and sports, and you start talking about, your old lady did what, or that's what we, okay. So,
Go
Mitchell,
ahead.
you got one first, or
I do actually have one.
okay.
So with how when men, like when you see women or you have a woman that you're like, I think this is the one that I think I want to spend some time with or make something real with, what is that thing or what are you really looking at or seeing?
Well, for me, it's someone that I see that first of all, I look for the godliness in a woman. Used to not it what I hey, let's get real. It used to not be that way, For me, first thing I look at, it used to be, if I look at her and she had watch her walk away, that kind
Keep it
of
real.
thing,
Keep it real.
Hey,
Thank you.
let's get real.
Real.
I'm being
We
real. I'm
got a
Yes,
being
joke
real.
I
behind that one.
appreciate it.
We actually did I'm gonna let you finish, but we'll tell it later. But we actually did a test in our younger years, in our 20s, when we were young and dumb,
Yeah.
to prove a point. But go ahead, finish the story about the walking away.
Yeah, walking away, look at him walking away and saying, yeah, that look all right. That look pretty good. Let me rub it. Let me see. And that's the way it was. I mean,
Yeah, it
I'm
still
being,
is, but okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm being told,
Okay.
but now, I'm older and everything, and I just want somebody that I can be happy with. We have, we're compatible. We have the same interests, maybe not in everything, and in a lot of ways. I'm one I like to cook. I'm one of these
Yeah.
guys that like to cook, and someone that I like to cook and share my my time, my life with. I have children. I have 4 sons, and I would want them to be, want them like
Yeah, you got sons.
these are my sons. Treat them. You love me, you love them as well.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
vice versa for a
Yeah.
woman. If you love her, you love her children as well.
Right.
But always
Right.
I want someone that's respectful.
Yes.
And not just flaunting
Right.
herself, and all that, and always want to, attention grabber, wants everybody to, look and that kind of stuff. I want you to look good, and I want men to look at you,
Right.
but but I don't want you to dress. You're not dressing for them. You're dressing for me. You
Right.
understand?
Mr. Brown, you killed
Okay.
my question, but okay.
You're dressing for me.
Not my question, but one of the questions. You just answered one of the questions that
Yeah.
women talk about. So yeah.
But I just
So
want, and for us to be just someone that I can be happy with, got a nice personality, vibrant,
Okay.
vibrant, and we can talk about anything, And
mhm.
if someone comes up to me, they used to always say to me, say, Billy, what office are you running for now? Because I always stop and take time with people because
Right.
I've always learned. My mother told me this. She said, be kind to everyone that you meet,
Yeah.
Be
Exactly.
kind to those on your way up. He said, because if you have to come down, you'll come down a lot slower.
Mhm.
It'll be a slow
Yep.
Right.
climb. She said, just be kind and be godly.
Right.
Be a godly man.
Right.
Right.
And I've tried in my older years, I've tried to, live by that, I just try to be kind to people and do unto others as you would have them do unto you, you know.
That's the golden
Perfect.
rule.
And
Yeah, it is.
everybody would ask, what commandment would you think God would, uh, would look at as being the best commandment? To me, it is love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
one,
And it can be difficult at times, but
Yeah,
God said
it's hard.
what he
It's
said.
hard.
You
Right.
know?
He didn't say it was going to be easy.
He
Right.
He
didn't, but
didn't
he
say it was
said
going
what
to
he
be
said.
easy.
He said, do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, just do it. Look, this can turn into a sermon because, again, I
Yeah.
think because
Yes.
we're
Yep.
all,
Yep.
Right.
we
Right.
can have church right now.
Do I need
Because
to go get my guitar? Do I need to get my guitar? I'm
Huh?
just saying.
no,
I'm just saying.
guitars. I mean, if we got to pull the tambourine, we did this with Climax. I got the tambourine.
Okay.
Mr. Brown has the voice.
What? We have our own praise and worship. Are you kidding?
Well, y'all in Philly, right?
No, Georgia.
No, I'm
in
in
Georgia.
Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, y'all live in
No,
Florida.
I'm in
What
Georgia.
part?
Yeah, I'm in Georgia. Erica's
Michelle's
in
You're in
is in
Georgia.
Florida.
Atlanta.
Where in
Yes.
Georgia are you at? Where?
In Decatur, near Atlanta.
Oh, Decatur?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know Decatur. Yeah, I know Decatur. And where in
Yeah.
Florida? Where in Florida are you from?
Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie.
Oh, Port St. Lucie. What's
Yeah.
some training camp down there?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very close to the training camp.
Yeah.
I won't tell everybody where we live, but yeah, very close to the training camp. See, so
Oh,
now if you're into baseball, come on down. We can go to the Mets,
all right. Okay.
training
Cool.
camp.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like.
Well,
I'm a sports fanatic.
see, I told you, the men, by the time they finish talking about cars,
Right. Sports.
Sports.
and
Yeah.
then they tune into the
Then they talk.
women.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Kind of like
Yes.
we do with shopping and
Yeah.
kids, and
Yeah.
then the men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Well,
right.
Mr. Brown, we had
Yeah.
a blast.
I
Well,
enjoyed
thank you
it.
so much. I did too.
We learned so much. It has been a true blessing. One quick question for the newbies,
Uh-huh.
for the younger generation. What
Right.
advice? And I know you get this a lot, but especially now, because right now the way the music is, and I don't mean the genres, but the way music is streaming now and the producing of it. Like, what advice would you give someone, a kid or someone older that's trying to get their name out there?
Well,
Like,
first and foremost, take it from me. The first thing you do is get yourself a good lawyer. First and foremost, because in these contracts, they can give it to you in this paragraph, and then the next paragraph, they can take it all away, and you're going to be owing them.
Right.
Get yourself someone that's, that knows what they're doing. Get a lawyer, someone that's in the music field, a good lawyer, that's someone that has your best interests at heart. Because I'm telling you, this music, they talk about all this stuff, but I'm telling you, this music business is a dog eat dog business. I'm telling you, this is what you see on stage isn't what it really is behind the scenes.
Right. That's just the performance. You don't see what all goes into getting to that point, or even that day. Right. Believe me, I know.
Show, it's called show business. And then there's the business part of it. And take care. It should be business show, but it don't sound right, does it? But take care of that business first. Take care of the business first, and then you go on with your show. I had to learn the hard way. I learned the hard way, but by the grace of God, it's turned out right. It's been lucrative for me. I've attained a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. And this business has been good to me after I got myself together.
Yeah. And that's important. I think I know the music industry or entertainment industry is a beast in itself. Sports industry as well. But at the end of the day, we all have gone through things where we had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Some may have had a harder lesson, but we've all been there. It's not about where you are or what happened. It's how you pick yourself up and how you focus to get to where you're going. So
that's right. Yeah. Yep. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's right. Well, on that note, this has been a wonderful pleasure. My cheeks are now sore. I can't wait to literally, Mama Nail, how was that?
You look like you could be in my family with those cheeks.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your last name? My maiden name, Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah. If you got any people we have a pretty large family, but if you have anybody in Georgia, well, most of my family, Conyers, Covington, Social Circle, that's where most of my family is.
I got people all over Georgia, and I got relatives in Opelika.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
Outside of Miami.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You, Mr. Brown, you've been moving around. You've been to Philly, New York, Georgia,
New Jersey. From Swainsboro, you have family in Opelika?
From little bitty Swainsboro. Look at you now. That's amazing. That's amazing.
I have a large family. on both sides, my mother and my father's side. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mine too. Well, my mom's side, my dad. Well, no, both sides are.
Both sides.
Yeah, my dad's family, I just learned, is much bigger than my mom's side, but I know more of my mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all family. It's okay.
Yep, that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank y'all as well.
Thank you again.
God bless.
Don't forget, we want that little snippet, because I'm like,
all right.
I don't. We don't listen to the newer stuff. I've tried. I just don't like. I never turn the radio on. I throw on a CD, Pandora, Amazon, and my playlist is all old school kind of music.
I make my playlist so I can hear specifically what I want to listen to.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So, but yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, y'all take care, and thank you so very much.
You do the same, and thank you again.
All right, and God bless you and yours. All right.
All right,
you as well.
too.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So long. I don't like saying bye-bye.
That's even better.
Right.
So long. See you next time.
See you next time.
Baby, tell me to go.